Hope you're having an amazing day. Here we have the Asus GT502 case. This is a dual chamber case, which has some neat features that I haven't seen on some other cases. Today we're going to go ahead and take a closer look at everything this case has to offer. Then we're going to try to fit in an RTX 4080 ATX motherboard with a 360mm radiator. And we're going to see if we're going to have any issues that come up. So we're going to go ahead and take everything apart so you can see how everything looks like and what's included and what's not. And one thing is, once I saw these handles, I was like, probably they're just there just for show. But they're actually very, very useful. I didn't know I needed them until I had them here. And to go ahead and remove the tempered side panel here, all you need to do is go ahead and press this. So once you press it, it releases it, and all you need to do is just pull it up, and it's off. And to put it back on, all you need to do is go ahead and just align it here, and it clicks there. So the first thing actually, whenever I'm looking at a case, first thing I'm looking at is if it has dust filters. And this one does have, I can see one down here, and it should come off, yep, from the front here. And it's a pretty nice dust filter. So at the bottom, if you're putting a radiator, fans, so you're not getting all the dust in there, which is nice. One interesting thing about this case is you're actually able to go ahead and remove the front tempered glass as well. And to remove it, all you need to do is kind of just like pull it. It comes off very easily, and just like that. So pretty much just like you remove the side panel, you're able like just to remove this by pulling it up. First pull out, then pull up, and it comes right off. So it will give you more room to go ahead and like, once you're like putting the motherboard in or playing around here, you have much more room here. And plus you're not like scratching the glass or anything like that. When everything is ready, just go ahead and put everything back on. Taking a look at the front here, we have the power, reset, two USB type A's, and this is for the lights, and the USB Type-C, and the headphone microphone jack here as well. And down here, I'm assuming this part is gonna go ahead and light up once we turn it on. Before we go to the side, let's just go to the back first. And at the back here, it does have a nice clean look, and we're able to remove this whole piece. So this piece here, so you can go ahead and vertically mount your GPU. This is actually what I'm going to be using, because I'm going to go ahead and mount the GPU vertically, just because it looks nicer here. And let's go ahead and take a look at the side now. So kind of like same idea again. To go ahead and remove the side panel, all you want to do is go ahead and click here. It comes off, then just pull it off. And the side panel looks like it does come with filters here. So let's just go ahead and remove this tape. So the filters, it's definitely gonna go ahead and filter some dust here, but they're like kind of metal looking. So I'm hoping you can see here, it's more of a metal mesh rather than like what we got at the bottom here, which is more kind of like nylon type here, as you can see. So just keep that in mind. But it's very fine, so it's really not going to let dust come in that much here, which is nice. So one of the interesting things which I mentioned in the beginning, so you're actually able to mount up to 360mm radiator or fans if you wanted to here, which is a nice add-on, which actually you don't really see this on other cases. And looking at the back panel, it does give it that whole room here to breathe. So let's go ahead and remove the side panel here and just see how it looks like. So once you remove the screw, there you have it. So you can go ahead and mount your radiator or fans here. The other thing which I like about this case, it does have the power supply down here. So looking at the top here, we are able to remove the straps. So let's just go ahead and take these off. And they come off very easily. It's Velcro. And removing the top panel, it's very easy. Just push it here, and it comes right off. And then once you're ready, you can just stick it back there, and it stays in place. Looking at the top panel, it does have a mesh here, which is going to protect it from dust getting in. But usually, if you have a radiator or fans mounted here, you have the air pushing out. And I don't really mind if it didn't have this, but good thing it does. So here's a closer look at what we get here. So So one cool thing I noticed about this case is the way this is mounted, the top here. Because some of the cases are like flush here, then you're gonna have the radiator and then the fan sticking out here, which is gonna be more like it's gonna show everything. And here, I'll show you what I mean. So if I'm just putting a fan in here, it goes up to here. So you're not really able to see the fan. So that way, when you're mounting a radiator, you're only gonna see the fan like a little bit here, which is very nice. And it will give more room to for the CPU power cables to go in here without any problems. Like I had with some other cases where this part is like very tight. Here, we're definitely not gonna have that issue the way I'm looking at it right now. And usually there's no need to show the bottom, but just in case you wanna see how this looks like. So we got some rubberized feet down here, pretty standard. So you get the slots for the filter to slide in and out. There's really nothing much there. Just note that this case does support ATX, so it's not going to be able to support the eATX, so just keep that in mind. So looking at the options for if you're mounting any hard drive or SSD, there's the option to do it on the back here. So taking a look at the back, so we're able to go ahead and mount 3.5 or an SSD here, so 1, 2, 3. But one thing is, if you are putting a water block, these do come off, so you just can unscrew them and they all come off. And there's definitely some nice water blocks for this case particularly, which look kind of amazing. And looking at the back here, we do have another slot for a 3.5 hard drive if you are still using those, so you have that option. And if you don't want to have this opening here, you can go ahead and mount your hard drive here as well, or your SSDs. There's another configuration if you want to fit even more hard drive, if you have more SSDs or 3.5 hard drives. You can go ahead and use this piece here, which is going to go on the side, and you're able to put up to 3 SSDs or hard drive here, which is a nice place. So if you're not utilizing as much water cooling, if you only have a 1360 and you're only going to put a few fans, then you can definitely go ahead and mount hard drives or SSDs here. So it gives you many, many options here, which is nice. Finally completed the build here. There are some upsides and downsides to this case here, which I'm going to show you in a quick bit here. So let's just go ahead and remove the front side panel here. First things first, so I got an RTX 4080 mounted here horizontally. And this is how it looks on the side. And as you can see, the cable doesn't really stick out that much. Which is nice, but if you're putting an RTX 4080 or 4090 that comes with those 3 adapters, definitely you're gonna have some issues there. Those are gonna definitely be squished when you're closing the side panel here. And I did encounter an issue with this case. It's the vertical GPU mount. This certain video card that I have, definitely I faced some issues. As you can see here, there's so little space on from the motherboard to the GPU here. It's a very tight space. First I tried a 200 millimeter riser to fit the vertical GPU, but I wasn't able to actually fit that. And so maybe 150 millimeter would kind of would fit nicely. Looking at this Founders Edition GPU, we have the fan on this on the front and back. So putting the GPU that close to the motherboard is all that heat transfer going through the video card. It's not going to help it perform to its best. But overall, the case looks very nice looking here. It's we can mount the fans down here. Definitely I'm able to fit a 360 millimeter radiator at the top without any issues, which is nice. But if you have a lot of hard drives you want to mount on this, then there is going to be another issue here, which I'm going to show you. So if you're planning on putting a few hard drives on this case, 3 or 4, if you have 3.5 hard drives, then you're going to face a few issues here. You see the plates that come to cover this part here, the side panel. You're going to have to kind of remove those so you can go ahead and mount your SSD or your 3.5 hard drive. So then it's you're taking those pieces and putting them here, for example, what I did. There's also the option, you can definitely go ahead and put a radiator here as well. But if you have hard drives that you need to put in this case, you're gonna have to take those pieces and put them here so you can go ahead and utilize them for your SSDs or your hard drives. Ideally, if you're doing a water cooling, this case will look much better than comparing it to how it looks now. Even now, it has a nice look here, but definitely it will look much better if you're doing any custom liquid cooling on this. And there's definitely so much space. You can do like a water block on the side here, and then go ahead and mount a 360 millimeter radiator at the top. And even down here, you're definitely able to do like even a radiator at the bottom as well if you want to. So those are the options. But the thing is, if you're putting any water block like on the side, then if you're planning to do 2 radiators, then airflow is gonna be kind of an issue here, because all you're gonna have to do is this is gonna be pushing air out. Also, if you're mounting a radiator at the bottom, that's gonna be pushing air out. So ideally you want only one thick radiator here, so you can at least pull some air in from the bottom and then push it out from the top here. And a few other things to notice here when it comes time to cable management. Just know that there isn't much space on the back here, especially if you're doing if you have any SSDs or hard drives mounted. Definitely that's gonna make it even less space here. As you see here, there's a very little space to play around to make the cables look nice. So overall, if you have similar specs like an RTX 4080, 4090, then you're gonna kind of face those little issues here, like mounting the GPU vertically and even horizontally. I would definitely suggest getting those mod cables, like the adapters that kind of make this go flush, so you're not hitting the cables with a side panel. So you have those kind of options. You can get rid of this problem here. And if you're putting a 360 millimeter radiator, you have enough room here even for the cables. So you can even actually go ahead and put even a thicker radiator than I have here, and it would still do the job. Really hope you found this review useful and helpful. If you have any questions about this case here, go ahead and leave a comment below. I'll be more than happy to answer it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.